Hello, hello, yo plebs. Welcome to another episode of Bob Radio. Bob stands for Build on Bitcoin, where we talk to Bitcoin builders from around the globe. Today, on episode 18 of Bob Radio, we have a very special guest, Mr. Severin Buhler from Synonym. Severin, how are you doing, sir?
Hello, Piccolo. I'm doing great. Awesome. It's nice weather here in the mountains in Bulgaria at the moment. And I will be able to go outside in an hour or so after this podcast. So all good,
Oh
all
man,
great.
great. Enjoy the sun. All right, let's kickstart with my co-DJ, Sarvin. Say hi and let's keep it going.
Hi everyone, how are you, Seth?
I'm good, I'm great. How are you doing?
All right, all good, no complaints. I'm gonna shoot you 5 rapid fire questions, so just like answer them as fast as you can, yeah?
Yeah, good.
All right, first one. As a nomad, what's your destination to go?
Bali.
Favorite social media platform or protocol?
Twitter.
Third one. LND or CLN?
I probably get butchered for this. CLN.
Fourth one. Bitcoin conferences or Bitcoin meetups?
Conferences.
Last one. If you weren't working on Lightning, what would you be working on?
Peer-to-peer applications.
Awesome. Piccolo, I give you back the reins.
Perfect. All righty. All right. In this next section of our podcast, we go over your personal journey and personal philosophy. So the first question, Seth, please share with us your orange pill journey, sir. How did you find Bitcoin, or how did Bitcoin find you?
Yeah, sure. Awesome. How did Bitcoin find me, basically? So I was a shitcoiner back in the days, like probably a lot of people, and I was working in a company in Switzerland, and we had some projects with IOTA. If you know this specific cryptocurrency, it's like a German cryptocurrency, and we just had I basically got ordered to put data on the IOTA blockchain. I was just like, yeah, let's see what we can do. Let's look up the tech. Let's read into it a little bit. And that was maybe 2015, 16, something like this. And at the same time, we had this bull market. And I just invested in a bunch of money in Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything, until the bull market obviously crashed, or the market crashed at the end, and everything went to shit. And I was like, yeah, cool, awesome. At the same time, I moved all my money from the shitcoins into Bitcoin, and that was it for a long time. I still had slight contact with Bitcoin and all other projects. I was interested in general, but it was not like a big topic in my life. And then in beginning of no, in 2019, I decided I'm going to be a digital nomad, and I'm going to create my own products. And during this process, I was looking at the Bitcoin Lightning Network, and I was like, there's so many like layer 2 solutions to cryptocurrencies. And the Lightning Network is just like, it doesn't seem to be very popular. Like there's like there are people working on it, but you don't hear anything in the news. And Bitcoin is actually great. I was around 2019. I was a big fan of Bitcoin in general, just through the philosophy. And then I was like, let's try to set up my own Lightning node and see what this is all about. So I did that. I tried to set it up. I failed initially, and after I failed, I started to create Allen Router, and the Allen Router is a service that helps node operators make smart decisions. And I started to create Allen Router because I failed initially to set up a Lightning node. And Allen Router was kind of the solution to my own problems because it was so difficult initially to make payments work on the Lightning Network. And yeah, from basically then on, Allen Router got like low-key famous in the Lightning Network space. And yeah, kept on working on Allen Router. And in 2000, actually at the beginning of this year, 2023, I joined Synonym as a Lightning engineer, and now I'm working on the Bitkit LSP block. It's called Block Tank. It's the LSP for Bitkit to serve Lightning liquidity to our on-chain, like non-custodial Lightning wallet Bitkit. And yeah, that's basically the story.
Very nice. Yeah, I just downloaded Bitkit myself actually about half an hour ago. So yeah, cool little interface. And I just did the little backup thing, the 12-word seed phrase, even though I understand that is not quite BIP39, right? I believe it might be a seed for you guys. Not sure. But once we finish this, I'll do my first transaction because you clearly have it right on the screen. To get started, send Bitcoin to your wallet. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tap and send Bitcoin to that wallet. All right. Awesome. Okay. I mean, one thing you did mention, in our chat earlier was, you're a digital nomad. How long have you been doing that?
I started that in September or October 2019 and went straight to Bali.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. So about almost 4 years now. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
We've met quite a few digital nomads, and again, that lifestyle and being a Bitcoiner or a Bitcoin contributor, there is some overlap. I guess the question is, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned from being a digital nomad? Because it must not be the choice that perhaps your loved ones or your family understood at first, or I don't know if they were supportive. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the question.
So how should I say it? As a digital, I learned a lot of things because not just because I was a digital nomad, but also because I tried to make my own products work at the same time and try to be my own boss at the same time. So everything was kind of mixed up. I was not trying to be a digital nomad so I can travel the world and get all the experiences from everywhere and enrich my my experience there. I tried to be a digital nomad because I had like 70K US on the side in 2019, and I promised myself I want to create my own products, and I can do this way better in Bali than in Switzerland, because in Switzerland just the basic costs of living, like apartment, food, and everything, is probably three and a half thousand US at least, and I could just go to Bali, live down there. I could live down there for maybe 1,200 US a month, and at the same time be at the beach, be at warm weather, have a new experience, like everything included. So going to Bali, leaving Switzerland, like getting out of my apartment was just a better decision, just a better lifestyle for what I wanted to accomplish. And with this, the whole last 4 years, I learned so many things, because if you create your own products and you want to create something from scratch, you need to know a lot of things that a normal programmer, like more normal software engineer that I was back then, didn't have. Like my first product back in the days, it looked terrible. It's like I created this product, I tried to sell it, and damn, like nobody wanted to buy it. And then I talked to a lot of people. There are a lot of entrepreneurs in Bali that do the same as I did. And they're all like, hey, look at this, like design shit, UX shit. And like, oh yeah, you're actually right. And then I spent 2-3 months learning design and UX. I don't claim to be a pro in design and UX, but after 2-3 months, you get a basic feeling of what works and what doesn't. Then I created the next project. It was a GitLab runner, basically server infrastructure for developers. The thing looked way better. It was way better thought through. And then I realized, shit, and now I can't do marketing. Like, how do I actually reach my customers? And there are so many little things that I learned on the way by just trying my own products and trying my own things that, yeah, it was quite a lesson over the last years.
Very nice. All right. Last question on this section. Is there anything you hate about Bitcoin? If so, what is it? And why, I guess. Yeah.
It's what I hate, if anything I hate about Bitcoin.
As you're thinking about the answer, I mean, I asked that question generally because, I don't know, as people, maybe me, I suppose, get down the rabbit hole, after a while, it's almost like a love-hate relationship. So some of the things you hate about Bitcoin are some of the things you love about it, right? For me, it's like the never ending. It's like, fuck, this thing never ends. I mean, you've heard that Bitcoin is a beast, but you don't really appreciate that until you start digging, right? And, that's why people tend to specialize, because it's hard to understand everything. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of where this question came from.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I have a good answer for you. I think Bitcoin is hard. It's really hard. Even as a developer that spends full time on it, there are so many things in Bitcoin, and just the hardness of actually scaling Bitcoin and actually making it right. There are like 10 ways you can scale a blockchain, but there is only one way or 0.5 ways to actually scale it properly. You don't want to end up like something like Ethereum, where they scale, but there's a lot of trade-offs with scaling, and you actually end up not with a censorship-resistant money. And then on top of that, it's also Lightning is complex as fuck. It's really not a simple solution. And at some point, or not at some point, sometimes I'm thinking, are we overdoing it? Is it too complex? Should we try another approach? But yeah, it's not, I don't hate these things. These are just the things I am thinking about the most.
Right. I mean, I guess you would call them things that are bothersome, right? So maybe hate is the word I use to polarize.
Yeah, that's a good framing.
Okay, cool. All right, before we jump to the next section and dig into synonym, Severin, you have questions for Seth?
Not really. We had the chance to talk after the Bitcoin Tide conference. So I have more questions related to like synonym.
All right. Okay. Let's get up to synonym. Well, maybe to introduce synonym, a good way to do it is go through their website, which is synonym, synonym.to. I made the mistake of typing in .io at first, and then I realized it was .to. So do make that mental mark. But one thing I do like about your website, as just scrolling down, under design principles, there's these six little boxes. The first one, and let me read it, and then we can jump into it. The box says Bitcoin, not blockchain. And it says, there is no need for more blockchains. We take Bitcoin maximalism to the next level with our commitment to creating a comprehensive user experience and ecosystem using Bitcoin as the only blockchain, using it strictly for payments. Tell us a little bit more about that. I mean, you just joined the company, but does that resonate? And maybe let's dig into why, and then go into the tech stack.
It definitely resonates with me. I believe these points, John wrote them down initially. Like, we don't need anything else than the Bitcoin blockchain. We need one system, one type of money that can scale, that is censorship resistant, and that people use and can work with. Everything else, there is no need for a second cryptocurrency, basically.
Okay. All right. Now,
or do you have do you want to go somewhere deeper there?
No. I just wanted to read that because as I'm looking to the products and services, I know you're working on Bitkit, which is a Lightning wallet, if I can describe it that way. But then there are also other things like /tags, Blocktank, and then pair credit, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. I guess we're okay to talk about all of them, I suppose. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I'm mostly working on the Blocktank, Bitkit LSP part, basically the Bitkit backend, and all the techniques like /tags and pair credit. These are more peer-to-peer applications. Maybe you've heard of peer-to-peer identity, decentralized identity, or in general more peer-to-peer, like peer-to-peer techniques. And there I know some things about it, but we have a lot of better people than me in this area at Synonym.
Okay, cool. Because whenever we get to talk to that people, it can be on a pod or even offline, because I did find it a little bit interesting that /tags is decentralized identity, I suppose, right? Using your Bitcoin private key to generate that identity. And then this pair credit of P2P credit using hole punch is interesting. But again, those two maybe doesn't quite relate to perhaps the strict payments protocol, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's an extension, I suppose.
Yeah. So for example, peer-to-peer credit would not use any blockchain. It would be a peer-to-peer system where you can exchange value, but there wouldn't be any a blockchain basically provides global state, a global ledger where you say I sent this and I received this and blah 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 blah. If peer-to-peer credit, which the project is very early, there are some very early ideas. It's more like I send you money, but it's not going to be non-custodial. It's not going to be how should I say, it's credit at the end. Like, credit already has this term in there that you're basically not holding the actual funds, if that makes sense. But again, I need to make a disclaimer here. I'm not the pro developer in these areas.
Yeah, understood. Okay, let's dig into sort of Bitkit and the other one, Blocktank Instant. For Bitkit, I guess a quick question for you is, well, first question is, this is non-custodial, right? Because I have my seed phrase. I'm assuming that means I hold my own private keys now, correct?
Yes, yes, it's completely non-custodial. It's an LDK Lightning wallet with on-chain support, and everything you do, you are protected with your seed phrase / private key.
Cool. Okay. I don't know if anybody ever asked you this, but why do we need another Lightning wallet, Seth?
Do you think there are already enough Lightning wallets?
I don't know. I mean,
do you-
is that a fair question or?
No, it's a good question for an interview. I like it because it makes you think a little bit.
Okay. I mean, well, I guess to answer that question is there already enough? I mean, just looking at on my phone, I think I've counted it once, Blink, Phoenix, Was, Blixt, Bitkit, and that's just on the Android, and about 6 more on the iOS. So I guess, yes, there's a lot of Lightning wallets, at least for people who are familiar with them. So what differentiates, I suppose, Bitkit? Do you understand?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, absolutely. So what we want to do, we want to make a Lightning wallet, a non-custodial Lightning wallet that offers a great user experience and imagine Revolut or Neobank or whatever. All the features they have, you can send to your contacts, you can split bills and do all these things. Imagine a Lightning wallet that is as convenient as, or even more convenient as the best banking apps today. And right now, all non-custodial Lightning wallets, they're working just to make the Lightning payments work and make everything reliably work. I don't think we have a single Lightning non-custodial Lightning wallet that actually is working all the time. Every wallet still has some flaws, a little bit of bugs here, a little bit of bugs there. And as soon as we finished with the Lightning Park and sending and receiving is just a breeze, we will continue working on features with Bitkit. And you already see it right now. You can already do contacts in there. You can send money to your contacts. And these are going to be the distinguishing factors in Bitkit, in my opinion.
Cool. Do I have my own Lightning address on here, on my Bitkit wallet?
No, you don't.
Okay.
We don't support Lightning addresses. We had a lot of discussions about this, but to support Lightning addresses, at the end, you need a centralized web server to resolve the Lightning address. And we decided not to do that for the time being. Maybe in the future, but so far we don't.
Understood. But for you guys, I guess, would Bolt 12 work then? To have a fixed, invoice receive system?
Yeah, as soon as Bolt 12 is ready and they did all the testing between implementations and LDK implemented it, then yeah, we can provide a Bolt 12 invoice. I hope it's not going to take another year, but yeah, takes time.
Yeah, I heard 2 weeks, a year ago, and then 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago. So we'll see, 2 weeks TM with it. Yeah, well, that's a shout out to Dusty Damon.
I mean, look, we started, or Synonym started the LSP spec, which I'm actively participating in. The goal is to create a protocol between Lightning wallets and LSPs. So you can switch LSPs as you want, and you can talk to each LSP with the same API. And again, we started this probably a year ago, and yeah, we were just slowly finishing the first standardized APIs, the first specs. And it just takes time. It takes a lot of time to actually create something from scratch and actually talk to all interested parties that participate in the spec and agree on, hey, we should build this.
Right. And how do your users factor into sort of that discussion, or how you decide on building out different features?
You mean in Bitkit in general?
Yes.
Probably better off asking John, who is leading what gets in and what doesn't. But so far, it's just what's the demand, where can we improve our wallet experience best, and yeah, that's what I think he's doing. Let's say like this. I don't have a lot of
Cool.
decision power there.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Talk a little bit about Blocktank Instant, because I'm still trying to load like the slide deck, but at least from the description, it's, you know, something which allows exchanges to support Lightning Network payments without Elven infrastructure, right? I mean, is that similar to like Voltage or similar to like Lightspark or something? I'm not quite sure. So hence the question.
So yeah, so we're actually not working on Blocktank Instant anymore. We need to remove that from the website. It was an approach or it was a product for Bitcoin exchanges. Or exchanges in general, to easily integrate Lightning into their offering. So we can actually improve Lightning adoption in the exchanges and improve Lightning adoption in general, because as soon as we have exchanges onboarded and everybody supports Lightning, users are actually pushed more to Lightning, which is great. We couldn't do it at the end, mostly due to legal problems. There were talks about licensing, and it just got a little bit too much, and we dropped this project.
Oh, I see. But what about, but you did mention that there is something that's also named Blocktank still, is there not?
Yeah,
Or
so
am I mistaken?
Blocktank,
Yeah.
no, so Blocktank is different. Blocktank is the Bitkit LSP. It's basically
Ah,
the Bitkit backend that that fuels Bitkit, because when you have a Lightning channel, when you have a Lightning wallet, then somebody needs to provide you liquidity so you can actually receive payments. And this is what Blocktank is doing. Blocktank provides APIs that Bitkit talks to and actually makes non-custodial Lightning channels work.
oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it now, which basically, as a business, you can also utilize this, right? Through your Blocktank APIs, and I guess you have your Blocktank widgets and all that, correct?
Yeah, so we have a widget. As far as when I remember correctly, it's blocktank.to, and there is a widget, blocktank.to. If you go there, on the top there is widget, and there you can purchase a Lightning channel, which could be very interesting if you're a business, if you're a routing node operator or any Lightning node operator, to get some liquidity.
Oh, cool. Okay, but so let's say a small business. I'm selling my stuff online. Let's call them, you know, caps. And I want to integrate this into my website. Who runs the node? I mean, Blocktank does, I guess, on the back end for me.
No, so Blocktank doesn't provide a node or a Lightning implementation. You would still need to run a BTC server with LND or whatever your favorite software is there. And what you can do is you can just connect, get basically inbound liquidity from Blocktank. You get an Lightning channel.
Oh, right. Okay. So, okay. I kind of like, what's the one from Amboss? Kind of like Magma from Amboss.
Yeah,
Is
yes.
that accurate?
There are multiple providers for channel liquidity. So Amboss Magma, you can purchase channel liquidity. There is Alan Big, maybe you've heard of that one, and
Yep.
there are other providers out there that sell Lightning channel. And yeah, Blocktank, you have a convenient widget that on blocktank.to, you can just enter how much capacity you want, and it will create the channel for you.
Cool. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it now. Very sleek.
It is basically a soft version of a payment processor, right?
So I don't know the legal definition of payment processor, so I'm going to be relatively careful here. But it you can buy a Lightning channel, and the LSP Blocktank will route payments, Lightning payments for you. It's all done non-custodially. We never custody any of your funds. So yeah, not sure this is exactly a payment processor.
Right.
Hey, I'm curious on your Blocktank API. It says here that this includes channel configuration, channel purchases, which is, inbound liquidity and all that. What is this thing with channel configuration? Meaning I can do remote control, or yeah, what does it mean?
Yeah, so Blocktank offers two APIs to actually get a channel. And the widget is just using this specific API to purchase a channel. If you're a programmer, you can just use this API to purchase a channel. So in theory, every other wallet can use Blocktank to actually get liquidity for it.
Oh, okay. Understood. All right.
In theory, you can build an automatic channel management plugin with this, which would be, I guess, very beneficial for some node operator, especially for businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is very cool, and you do have quite a big library of some demos and things like that. So, okay, cool. Looks simple enough for people to kind of test it out. And again, the website for that is blocktank.to, right? Same
Yes.
as synonym. Perfect. Alrighty. Okay, Severin, but over to you for any additional questions.
Questions to you guys?
No, this is for my buddy. Sorry, I call you Seth. Yeah, maybe my pronunciation is confusing people, but
sorry.
Yeah, I was talking to Sovereign Skate. Yeah.
Coming back to per credit, it's basically peer-to-peer, like an accounting system based on credit, right? You're not transferring sats to each other. It's just like there's like some sort of balance that probably settles at some point.
So this product is very early, and they're not all design decisions have been made there, but the idea is that you send credit back and forth. So you don't send actual sats, but you basically send. It's kind of like signed credit to somebody else. It's if you want to get more details, I recommend you get Reza or John from Synonym on the podcast, and I hope they can tell you more about this.
Right. And this peer-to-peer, like per credit, basically, is it trustless?
No,
No, right?
Credit, that's why it is like has credit in the name. Credit is basically never trustless.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point because that would be an oxymoron, isn't it? Trustless credit because
Yeah.
you're giving money over trusting that the guy would pay you back. So by very definition, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also why the credit is in the name, that everybody instantly sees, hey, this thing is not trustless.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Sorry.
All right.
Keep going.
Yeah. One like question about the block tank. So basically, if like a user wants to use the API, they need to like deposit any sort of funds, and then the LSP will like own to the exchange, and the other way around. If like the user wants to like withdraw, the LSP will like pay on behalf of the exchange.
No. So you're mixing up block tank and block tank instant, which
I see.
is a bit of a confusing naming in my opinion. But again, so block tank instant was this custodial product for exchanges to send funds back and forth with the user to actually make Lightning payouts and deposits. And Blocktank is the non-custodial Lightning LSP. The non-custodial Lightning LSP that has an API that a non-custodial Lightning wallet can purchase a channel from. And there you just pay a fee to Blocktank, and then Blocktank will open the channel to you.
I see. Understood. All right. I was like a bit confused. Block tank on the first product.
Yeah.
All right. Back to you, Piccolo.
Yeah. How can I ask you maybe one or two questions about slash tags? I know you're not, you said you aren't sort of the dev on that, but it's interesting because I was just looking through, slash tags.to and under like accounts, where it's describing the application of your private public key pair. And then that's this thing where you can scan a QR code with your Bitkit to sign in. Are you familiar with that? Okay. Yeah, tell us about that. That's kind of interesting. Oh, but
Yeah.
still.
I try to say as much as I know, and I hope I don't make any mistakes and I don't say something incorrect. But so slash tags is a framework / library that you can use to create decentralized peer-to-peer applications. It is based on the hole punch technology. Holepunch.to, I guess, is the website there. That's a sister company of us. And what we try to do with slash tags is basically creating a system for Bitkit so you have a user profile with some data in there, and a system where I can just click on I can scan a QR code, I add you as a contact, I add the specific user profile as a contact, and then I can just click on the send money button, and it automatically selects a payment method like on-chain Bitcoin, Lightning, Bolt 11, or maybe Bolt 12 in the future. It does everything for you, and you just enter the amount and you send the money. You don't need to think about the underlying technology, payment technology, for example, or whatever. You have a decentralized profile that you access with your seed, with your private key, your seed basically, and only you can change stuff, and you are the owner of this data that is on there. Does this do I make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense because as maybe my analogy was, one, let's say, social media and payment address to rule them all, I guess, and you
Yeah.
control the private key, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
It's
Yeah.
It's not really a social media, but it's one profile / payment method kind of to rule them all, at least
Cool.
in the Bitcoin payment space.
Yeah. And actually, if I already have my Bitkit wallet, I don't even need to create a new /tag accounts, right? I can just scan and sign with my Bitkit wallet, and that's my profile, correct?
Can you repeat your question again? I'm not sure I understood correctly.
Well, if you go to /tag accounts, it says here sign in with just a key.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a QR code on the side which says scan with Bitkit to sign in with your key. So I'm not sure what I'm signing into, but I'll check it out later. But that was the genesis of my question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you basically have keys in Bitkit. You have your seed. And basically what you do there is you scan a QR code on this website and it creates an account for you on this website that you can always access with Bitkit and with your specific seed. So it's basically login with your Bitcoin seed.
Right. Okay. It's kind of like logging in like with your node key and signing for transactions with your node key in Lightning, something like that.
Yeah, it's I mean, in principle, it's similar, yes. There's a lot of gears in /tags and how everything works, but it is a logging method with your Bitcoin seed. And your Bitcoin seed is the secret that you need to protect to log in back to these services.
Yeah, that's interesting because for me, again, if you're holding your Bitcoin seed again near and dear, you're not, or you're less likely to lose it. So using that secure, seed to do other things like, signing for stuff and creating accounts. Yeah, that's very interesting. Although I wonder whether, I might just want to have, let's say, even a hot wallet for that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't, for example, feel comfortable using my seed phrase for my HODL hardware wallet for it. I mean, does that make sense? Yeah.
No, that makes 100% sense. Look, maybe in the future, we will have key signers, like hardware key signers that
Right.
do all the things and make things way more secure, and you might be able to use the same seed. But at the moment, in Bitkit, the seed is just there, and if your phone gets stolen and somebody cracks your PIN code, then somebody might be able to extract your seed in the worst case. So
Right.
definitely don't have all your valuable savings in the same seed there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But as we talked about earlier in the show, I like to spread my sats around different Lightning wallets to play around. So I'm not gonna have that problem. All
That's
righty.
good.
Okay. Okay. I think we're coming sort of towards the end of the show segment here. Unless Sarvin, do you have any additional questions before we start moving to wrap up?
No more questions on my side.
Okay. All right, Seth. Before we end the show with parting thoughts, we flip the table on our guest. And what I mean by that is you get to ask us, Bob Space, myself, or, Sovereign Skate, one question. And if you don't have any questions, we'll just move to wrap. Do you have a question for us, sir?
Yeah, I wrote one question down, and the question is, what is the current state of BOB? Like, I've been there in August. There were great meetups happening. There was a great community. Do you have any plans, or what is the current state of BOB, and do you have any plans for the future of the space?
Oh, we always have plans. I guess I don't know. Sovereign, which one do you wanna do the current state and I'll do the plan, so you wanna flip it? Up to you.
Right. So when you were here, Sep, I think we were like running the first batch of our residency program.
Mhm.
Currently, we're like working on that. Probably launch the second cohort on early next year, either like on February, March, or April.
Mhm.
So we're like actively shortlisting candidates and doing like our own research. And what's happening? Well, we've been traveling. We've been like to a couple of conferences and so on. What else, Piccolo?
Well, that's I would say, you know, a continuation of what from the time you were in August up to today, which is, you know, about 3 months. So a lot has happened, and that maybe catches us up to the current state. But future plans, which is the second part of your question, uh, in addition to what Sovereign was mentioning in terms of the Bob Buildler's residency. So the second batch, and we'll call them, you know, batch one, because the first one was batch zero. That will come in. They'll come in around, yeah, March. I would say is the most likely timing, and we plan to do this residency twice a year. You know, and make sure that open source developers not only, you know, benefit from working and building with one another, but also contribute back to the community. And in terms of the rest, I suppose the thing which we have, you know, agreed to get more organized on was on meetups and technical workshops. I think we will want to go with something like a monthly theme. I mean, if Seth, if you're familiar with like Bitcoin park in Nashville, what they do is that each month they have a theme, and then meetups and workshops around that theme. For example, you know, mining month, January, for example, February, privacy month, you know, and then March is, you know, whatever, right? Node running month, something like that, you know. So I think that's something I think we want to, because as we mentioned and discussed earlier, Bitcoin is so hard, right? What's your word? And for me is, man, there is no end. So without that type of a structure and organization of the topics we want to hit, you know, sometimes, as you know, the fucking year flies by, doesn't it? You know, as we're talking now, it's like, wait a second here. We're almost the end of 2023 already, and the halving is only what, 5 months away now? What? You know? Yeah. So time flies if you don't put a structure to it. So for us, I think the thing to look forward, at least for Bob Space, is yeah, more structure around our meetups, workshops, yeah, and continue, I guess, support and being at least a magnet for talented, you know, open source developers to come and build and share.
There
Yeah,
is
that's
another
cool.
there is another initiative we're working on. We're like only planning it. We cannot disclose much, but yeah, with like all that said, we will like keep providing support to the first residencies. So Galnaf, Floppy, Dan, who's working on Payjoin, you will see like upcoming updates on their projects, and yeah, we try to support them in any way we can.
Cool. Awesome. Very awesome. Very nice. Yeah, it's um it's really interesting because the last when I was in Bangkok, and I believe Sovereign, you made the presentation about the 21 community and how the whole concept around this. You guys are very ahead, very sophisticated in the way you're building this community in Bangkok, which I'm personally very impressed of. So yeah, it's great to hear this update.
Cool. Well, thanks for the kind words. And here we were just shitting on ourselves that, God, man, we need to do more. But, thanks for the appreciation. And yeah, we'll keep doing more, obviously. All right. So Seth, please, give us any closing comments, parting thoughts, and tell our audience where to find you and where to connect.
Yeah, sure. Closing comments. Stay with Bitcoin. Let's build this thing. Let's do it. To every developer, put some love into Bitcoin. It's already a great application, but it could still get some more love. And if you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter. At Severin B. Maybe you can put it into the description, in the podcast description. And go to synonym.to. That's the company I work for. And there you will see one of our products, Bitkit, which is a Lightning wallet that you can download and check it out. And thank you very much, Severin and Piccolo, for having me on the podcast.
Thank you for your time, sir. And with that, it's a wrap.